Welcome back to Peplink Sales Training Webinar, PC 2.0 Intensive Training, Part 2. Today's session, we're going to talk about all the devices that we did not cover from the first session. The first session, we covered SpeedFusion technology, we covered balanced family of devices, and we covered our full stack solution of SD switches. Everything is managed by our IC2 in the cloud SD-WAN controller. And as I mentioned, our SD-WAN technology requires point-to-point connection at the minimum. So you can use our device plus another device or a Fusion hub for that endpoint. So those are the three technologies that we talked about, or the three pillars: SpeedFusion, SD-WAN controller, Fusion hub. Then we talked about balanced routers, and then we talked about SD switches. Today, we're going to dive into the Max Mobile family. And this is our family of mobile routers. Previously, all the devices we talked about are mainly on-premise or in data center devices. The Max Mobile family is a series of industrial cellular routers, and they're designed to provide secure WAN access in environments where wired solutions are too expensive or difficult to deploy. There's a lot of common features listed on the right side: redundant SIM slots, centralized cloud management, zero-touch configuration, traffic steering, SD-WAN solution, GPS fleet tracking. So most of the devices have GPS built in. Most of the devices, all of the devices have a cellular wireless connection. Most have Wi-Fi also built in. And some will have one or many Ethernet ports for LAN or additional WANs. And some will be outdoor ready. And let's go through it. So the Max Mobile family group of devices are listed right in front of you. We start with the Business Ready series. And this is our entry-level series of wireless cellular SD-WAN. We start with 4G today. In the future, we'll have other technology as it becomes available, such as 5G. And those are mainly used in business type solutions, or they're actually super cost effective as a MSP or internet CPE solution. So if your customers, if you're working with a telephone company or you're working with an MSP, they're looking to offer a full package solution of a connection package plus a device. The BR series would be perfect for that. Then we offer the heavy duty series. Now the heavy duty are probably some of our best sellers, to be honest. They're industrial grade routers for harsh environment use. They have a super wide range of temperatures. They have from one to many WANs, cellular WANs, plus hardline WAN ports, plus a lot of additional features such as GPS, Wi-Fi, or etc. And we'll go through it shortly. We also have the Transit series. Okay, so these are designed for mobility or in-transit use, such as fleet, automobile, trucks, railways, possibly maritime. We also have the X series, which we'll talk about. That's a brand new upgradable series of mobility routers. We actually touched on the X series in the previous webinar with the EPX for enterprise. The last family group is our SpeedFusion engine. They're actually a derivative of our heavy-duty series, where we take the best of the heavy-duty series and we put them into custom form factors or formats. And they're usually used for embedded solutions, such as ATM cameras, or we'll show you they're tailor-made for a specific vertical or market. So we can bring the SpeedFusion benefits to specialized markets in a custom-made format. So let's start with the Business Ready series. So let's take a deep breath, everybody, because this is quite comprehensive. But I'll try to make it as easy as possible for everybody. So we start with the BR1, and I want you to look at that for about 5 seconds and set your baseline. In my previous session, I said we have so many devices from Peplink. If I ask you to memorize everything, all the minute details, it's not easy. But if you set a baseline and then we do a difference, we have a top-down approach and we look at the difference between all the family members, it is much easier for you to understand and digest. So we'll start with our basic BR1. The BR1 is a single cellular modem. And I will advise you, previously I said the number right here is a indicator to how many WAN the device will have. In the previous webinar, the number indicated the numbers of Ethernet WANs. For our Max Mobility series, this is an indicator to the number of cellular WANs, or the primary WAN. So if I have another number besides 1, that's going to designate how many built-in cellular radios or cellular modems that device has. So BR1 has 1 cellular radio. It is 100 megabits of bidirectional throughput. We have LTE and LTE-A available. And as I said, these are our industrial grade routers, so it's rugged, shockproof, and vibration resistant. Then we have a bigger brother, the BR1 Pro. This is one of our best seller, similar to the BR1 with the added addition of a 4-port switch, as you can see here. We also offer a BR1 Enterprise. Now this is a special BR1 router with no Wi-Fi. This has Wi-Fi, cellular, 100 megabits of throughput, 1 WAN, and 2 LAN. The Pro has a 4-port Ethernet switch. The Enterprise has additional throughput for 300 megabits, but no Wi-Fi for security hardened networks. One example that you would use would be to tie this to a remote CCTV camera array as a standalone solution. With 300 megabits, you can upload a ton of camera video stream back to headquarters. But you don't want Wi-Fi to prevent any form of security leaks to those cameras. You also have, the next one is the BR1 Mini. And I will advise you right now, among all the BR1s that we have, the BR1 Mini is looking to be our best seller. It is everything the BR1 is in a small form factor. It has every option available. And the small form factor is a consideration for kiosks, standalone deployment, M2M, IoT, and etc. We have the BR1 Slim. Now this is more of a portable solution for the BR1. It has all the features of the BR1, plus it can be powered by dual micro USB power banks. So if you have two 5,000 milliamp power banks at 2 amps, you could plug it into, you can't see it here, you can plug it into the 2 USB ports on the front, and you can literally take this with you on the go. This is something for our sales, more specific personnel and partners to think about as a sales demo kit. You could have Wi-Fi, Ethernet WAN, Ethernet LAN, single cellular, and you could bring this with you to show a demo at your client's site. Then we have a specialized BR1, the M2M. This includes a built-in 9-pin serial port for serial connectivity. And this is a specialized unit that a lot of our partners currently use in IoT, machine-to-machine monitoring, such as oil, gas, mining. They actually use this in traffic signaling for civil projects. So it can monitor streetlights, the status of streetlights across the citywide grid, or it can monitor, street signals and things like that. So if you have government or civil projects, this is one product to consider. So let's run through this really quickly again. We start with the BR1 on the top. We come down to the Pro with a 4-port switch. We go down to the Enterprise with no Wi-Fi but higher throughput. We go down to the Mini for a reduced cost version of the BR1. We go down to the Slim for portability, and the BR1 M2M for IoT and machine integration. Heavy duty series. So again, the heavy duty series has a group of heavy duty hardened enterprise grade cellular mobile routers. And I'm just going to jump through this to show you the difference and an easier way to understand it. Again, the first digit is the number of built-in primary WAN. This has 2. HD4 has 4. We have a new HD2 Mini, and it also has 2 primary 4G cellular WAN. all three devices have built-in LAN ports, and all three devices also have additional WAN ports. The main difference is that the HD2 and HD4 has between 4 to 8 cellular LAN. They offer PoE output, so you can connect video cameras, IP phones, any PoE-enabled device. And the reason we have more cellular radios is to allow you more bandwidth. So those are solution-specific needs that you need to look at. The Max HD2 Mini is the big brother of the BR1 Mini. It's similar to the BR1 Mini, but we add the addition of a second cellular radio. And a lot of you are going to ask, what is the difference between the Max BR1 series and the HD series? So I'll give you one tip that may be asked during the exam. The BR1 does have speed fusion technology enabled, but because the primary function of a BR1 through a single cellular, 99% of the time the BR1 are deployed for a single cellular or standalone solution, bonding is not available. So if you're looking for a mobile cellular router with bonding or bandwidth aggregation, you need to look at the HD series and above. The BR1 will give you WAN smoothing, give you hot failover, and VPN, but it will not give you WAN smoothing or bonding because you need more than one primary WAN to enable it. So this one also has no Wi-Fi. So this is very similar to the BR1 Enterprise, but it does have the addition of a second cellular for additional bandwidth up and down. What about transportation specific? What would the difference be versus the BR1 series and the HD series? So we have the PepWave Max Transit. We have a Max Transit Dual, and we have a Max Transit Mini. This one has a single cellular, dual cellular, single cellular. All of these are specifically certified for transport, such as ruggedness and railways. So it will have additional certification mainly for buses and civilian mobility use that's required from government agencies. Now, this one has the Max Transit and the Max Transit 2 technically are mobile versions of HD2 and HD4. They have 400 megabits of throughput. This has a single cellular, this has a dual cellular, but it doesn't have the switch port, the built-in switch. It does have a single LAN and WAN. If somebody was asking me today, what would be the ideal demo unit to bring into a customer site to show them speed fusion benefit? Right here. I personally recommend this, and a lot of our engineers do. Why? You can actually power the Transit series by USB power banks. It offers twin cellular to show cellular bonding, has built-in Wi-Fi, built-in LAN and WAN plus GPS. It has every single connectivity option you would need to do a sales demo to showcase the speed fusion proposition. And it's small enough that you can carry with you and be independently powered. The Max Transit Mini is a specialized Max Transit. One, that's transportation certified. And two, it has an extra LAN port, right here, that's different from the BR1 Slim. Those are the main differences. If you're in North America, there's an additional band that's enabled right here, band 71, but for Asia and Europe, I'm unsure, and I don't believe that applies. So for all intents and purposes, the Max Transit Mini is a transport certified version of the BR1 Slim, BR1 Mini, with the addition of another LAN port. That's the best way for you to remember during testing. So also, we have USB-focused devices, and these are for legacy compatibility. We have the PepWave Max on the go, and we have the PepWave Max 700. Both devices support nearly 250 USB cellular modems out in the market. So if you think back in the days from a few years ago, USB finger-sized modems were very popular. I believe they were available in 3G and 4G flavors. If you still have access to those, or if you're in a country or region for some reason that has some kind of strict prohibitive licensing for 4G cellular routers to be imported into your country, these two devices are options. The Max and the Go is a very small device. It's a very small device, roughly the size of a access point, and you could plug in between 1 to 4 USB finger-sized modems, and you can have all the SpeedFusion benefits. You can aggregate and bond it. If you want something more powerful, you can consider the PepWave Max 700. This is literally the Max HD4, but instead of building in the modems, we have a single USB on the front and 3 USB finger ports on the back. So you could plug between 1 to 4 USB modems and aggregate that. This one also includes AC Wi-Fi plus 400 megabits of throughput. This one only has ABGN, no AC. So this is 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, this is 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So those are the main differences between the Max Mobile USB series. If I'm going way too fast for everybody, please raise your hands and I will slow down. Now there's more. Hi, wow, I saw that and I will slow down for you. We offer the Max Mobile Outdoor series. So the Outdoor series are actually rainproof, water splash proof devices for outdoor use. And we have the BR1 with IP55 certification. In addition to outdoor certification, this device has PoE output support with an optional license. You can select the antennas for omni or directional, and offers 100 megabits of throughput. Now, if you're in an environment like Southeast Asia and you are super humid and you need absolute dust proof, or if you're in the Middle East especially, and you have a lot of dust particles, we do have the IP67 rated BR1. It's essentially the same device as the IP55 with a much tougher enclosure. I will advise you, the BR1 IP67 is super popular with outdoor deployment as what? As a self-contained Wi-Fi access point. A lot of our partners have actually used this device in government programs such as providing free Wi-Fi to park visitors. You could put this literally on top of a pole. It's near bulletproof, weather, rain, and dust proof. And with embedded cellular modem inside, you can provide free Wi-Fi for visitors to your country or city. So that's something to think about. We also have, for those who need much more bandwidth, IP67 HD2, and their bigger brother, the HD4. So these are single cellular, dual cellular, quad cellular, up to 4 cellular modems, 4G LTE-A for massive bandwidth. We also offer a brand new item called the HD2 Dome. We literally took our HD2 IP67 and we built it into a dome for mass mounting. This is not limited to maritime. I'm only showing you the ship as a possible deployment solution. It has 2 built-in cellular antennas on top of the casing. Now, the reason we did that was, as people know, especially in transportation and outdoors, to gain the maximum signal strength, A, you need to point the antenna towards the source. B, you want to get as high as possible to get away from lower level obstacles such as buildings, metal bars, trees, not trees, but metal bars and other construction that may interfere with radio signal. So we've built this device with built-in antennas on top, so you could put it on top of a pole. This will give you near ideal location and installation, and there's more. The device can be powered by PoE. So you could technically mount this on top of a mast, on a boat, or in a city park, on top of a train, on top of a bus, and you could run a single Cat5 cable or Cat10 down up to 100 meters back into the office or back into the transport mechanism. You run one single flexible cable instead of mounting your router inside and then pulling a lot of high quality yet very difficult to manage antennas outside. Super ease of installation. We also have a companion device. It's called a SIM injector. This is a PoE device. It offers PoE output, so you can connect this 100-meter cable to the HD2 dome or other HD products, and you can power it up. Plus, it allows you to support or add 8 SIM cards that can be rotated into that router. So if you're using it in a maritime or train or public bus deployment, you can roam the city or out of city and not incur roaming charges. Our SpeedFusion technology will allow the router to switch SIM card and carrier service based on detecting roaming or GPS fencing that's built into the device, and allow you to maximize cost savings from carriers through our network solution. And the SIM injector, the SIM injector can be paired up with other devices in our family. It's not just limited to the HD2 dome. SpeedFusion engine. So this is our customized small form factor SpeedFusion solution. So these are not router looking things. So let's start with the SpeedFusion engine. This is a very small block. It is about the size, it is about 2/3 the size of a pack of cigarettes. It is super small. And SpeedFusion engine comes with one or twin cellular connections. It has only a single WAN or LAN switchable port plus USB, and it is 12-volt DC powered. This is the type of solution that you would consider, one, for very tight spaces, but you need some kind of internet connectivity that's very difficult to bring in. So let's use one of our most popular deployments, ATMs. We have many providers, I will not name them for security reasons, that provide secured banking solutions. The SpeedFusion engine can be embedded inside the ATM housing and offer between 1 to twin cellular data backhaul for those transactions. You never ever need to wire anything else other than power and a LAN cable just to grab the transaction data and send it back to headquarters. Remember, the SpeedFusion engine includes all the benefits from Peplink, including 256-bit AES military-graded encryption. It offers bandwidth bonding, so for more throughput if you need it. It offers hot failover if you have more than one WAN. If you have a single cellular, it does offer auto failover between a secondary SIM. And you can embed this into kiosk as a VoIP solution or as a video streaming solution as well. Now, when we talk about video streaming, we actually have a very specialized SpeedFusion engine called SpeedFusion Engine Camera. This is literally a twin cellular SpeedFusion engine built into this housing with either a AB mount or a V mount. And the mounts are compatible with all industry standard, well, not all, but many industry standard IP cameras. These will range from all the popular providers in the world. Why would you need such a solution? we've actually developed this with our partner. I believe we can talk about them, JVC, for their cameras. When they wanted a completely wireless solution for live video streaming in the field. So the camera was deployed with news teams, broadcaster, events specialists, social media superstars, etc. And they wanted a completely wireless solution. SpeedFusion Engine camera provides twin cellular LTE-A for fat bandwidth to upload your HD or 4K video streams back to headquarters. It also is completely powered, passed through by the internal camera battery, no wires whatsoever, and has a built-in Wi-Fi radio for the crew to access, gain access back to headquarters, whether through VPN or not. So it's an elegant solution that's designed specifically for a vertical, and it is super popular for those types of system integration and deployment. If you have customers that you're working with, such as advertising, such as TV, such as media, such as broadcast, such as events, such as social media superstars, or if you need it for yourself to do live events or to show a demonstration at a tech show or security show, this will be one of the devices that you can show as a specialized solution. So let's look at some case studies of where we actually can deploy our solutions with mobility. So we're talking about cellular routers. So let's think back, guys. Previously, when I talked about our balance series for enterprise, we are literally dropping boxes into a shop or on-premise or in a building. What if you had a customer that has a remote office? What if your customer travels? What if your customer works on a train? What if your customer has a private boat? What if your customers are maritime? What if they're transport? And etc. So our partner at Enigma XK, Matthias Lopez, the chief engineer, asked us for a solution. And we worked with our partner to install a Peplink full stack solution into their boat. So I will tell this story because it's really interesting. I believe the boat was parked in the Mediterranean or in the UK. It was somewhere in Europe. The solution provider was actually based out of South Africa. So what they did was, and this boat actually travels to the Arctic, the Antarctic, to do studies and things like that. So what they did was our partner actually pre-built the entire system and sent it to them, sent it to the Enigma for setup. Once they plugged in the system, our system integrator literally and remotely configured the entire setup, remotely, 100%. You can read about this case study on our website. It's under case studies. There is much more data. But the thing to take away is we offered a network backhaul and network failover to their existing satellite for numerous reasons. One, VSAT is very expensive. If you're out in the Antarctic, you have no choice because you're way too far away from civilization. Two, when you get much closer back to mainland and much closer to civilization, you want an option to have one, better performance, and you want a more cost-effective solution. By deploying Peplink's HD series onto that boat, they were able to bond multiple cellular WANs to give them that kind of cost-effective yet high bandwidth performing solution. And the full connection is fully secured because all the Peplink devices are connected to Fusion Hub in the cloud. So even if they're traveling between civilization from Chile and they're traveling down to Antarctica, they will still maintain a secure, encrypted connection to protect their data. So let me show you that full stack solution. And there it is. This is literally what the engineer took after they employed the solution on the boat. So let's take a quick look at it. This is a Balance 580. It is a 5-port WAN solution, okay, right here. So this is the aggregator. You can see there's one here for VSAT. There's two others that go into our HD cellular modems that provide cellular service. The Peplink Balance 580 is acting as the aggregator in this case because it's combining multiple cellular modems plus satellite into one secured connection. Down here, you can see our switch. This is the primary switch that provides all the rest of the networking connectivity back to the boat. And you can see fiber optic ports right here that's cascading to two 48-port switches. So what is this full stack 48-port switch doing? There can't be that many crew members on this boat. I believe that at best there will be 20. So one, it's powering the entire IP telephone system. Two, it's powering all the CCTV cameras. Three, it's powering all the TV satellite feeds to all the crews for their room, plus comms and radio. And you can see the comms right here. So this is a Peplink solution. The only thing I did not show were the mobile routers offering satellite because those were set up at different endpoints. But this is a type of solution that I want our salespeople to think about, envision when you're talking to your customer. You can have a full stack solution from Peplink with WAN, wireless WAN, switching, and routing, and secured monitoring with our cloud-based SD-WAN controller. One control to manage every single device down to the port. But there's more. So currently we talked about existing 4G ready products and LTE Advanced. What about 5G, guys? Well, let's talk about our brand new HD4 MBX. Previously in the HD family, we had the HD2, HD4, and the HD2 Mini. I want to announce the HD4 MBX if you don't already know. So the MBX is our upgradable cellular router. We start with a quad 4G LTE base. That's 4 LTE radios. And the modem itself, or the adapter, is upgradable to 5G in the future. I remember one of our participants asked us a total cost of ownership question, and I didn't answer that because that was not the scope. But I want to emphasize that when you're asking your customers to make an investment with Peplink, we are looking out for them. We will offer a pathway to future technologies depending on their needs and to be able to grow with them. So if you have a partner or a client who's looking for outdoor networking and they need consistent, secure, high bandwidth performing reliability, but they want to be able to grow, MBX is your answer. Today, this device internally is a 2.5 gigabit router. It will push 2.5 gigabits. It supports gigabit LTE right now if you need it. And the adapter is hot swappable. We will more than likely offer upgradable module in phases. We'll probably offer a 4G, 5G hybrid to start because that's the reality. In most regions, you don't have pure 5G yet. It'll take a couple of years to really realize that. And we do offer an we will offer an HD2 MBX as well. So it allows you to grow between 2 to 4 cellular and between 4 and 5G technology. So what can you use MBX for? And I believe, I was talking to a partner yesterday, he was asking me about civil services for a government project. Well, here we go. What if your customer or you have a project and you're talking to a government agency, whether it be emergency services, firefighting, or security, and they need network connectivity on the go. They have a mobile command center. They have operation in the field, but they want and they need high bandwidth. HD4 MBX is your answer. You can take this device with you. You can take it and build it into the mobile command center. You can build it to any vehicle. One, it has built-in ignition sensing. So it allows you to connect to cars, and when you turn on that vehicle, only then it will power up to ensure longevity for that product and stability of power output. 2, you can combine 4 cellular links. You can also add the SIM injector for additional SIM deployment. It already has 8 built-in SIM slots. 1 active per radio, up to 4, additional for backup redundancy, just in case you drop if you hit a blind spot. And 2, you can have 8 more. And I'll tell you why you may want to do this. If you're in a security sensitive operation and you're trying to snoop on some bad people, you don't want them to know what your cellular channels are. You don't want them to know. You can literally go out to a convenience store and buy on-the-go cards and pop it in. So you could keep and stay anonymous as you're providing high bandwidth backhaul for your operations team in the field. The Max HD4 has a built-in PoE switch, so you can power up CCTV cameras or additional video devices that you may need for surveillance or monitoring, or just to advance your situational awareness for the team. I will tell you right now, this also has built-in Wi-Fi. So if your mobile operations team are out in the field and they're close enough to the command center with additional antenna deployments, all the comm systems can be SpeedFusion enabled through that Wi-Fi. So that's redundancy for your operators in the field for their existing radio network. They can actually connect to Wi-Fi as a failover through that HD4. Well, what else can we do? Okay, this is a really cool thing. Let's talk about a give back to the users and the community. We've had our existing partners use the HD4 MBX for mobile clinics. So there are a lot of regions today, even in developed countries, that actually have very good and very solid cellular network connectivity. Whether you're in Africa, South America, or even Southeast Asia, or anywhere that's rural, there are actually very good 4G connectivity, but there's a problem. They're very old copper lines, and it's very difficult to pull in fiber optic. Okay, if you're trying to provide medical services to those regions, sometimes it's really difficult. It's not that the doctors are unable to see the patients. It's very difficult for them to do any data sharing. So with a Max HD4 or MBX, you can actually drop the box, pre-fitted with SIM cards, and turn it on, and you provide immediate day zero connectivity, whether that would be a rural medical center or a roaming medical center. One of our partners have deployed an ingenious solution using multiple HD4s for their mobile medical clinic, and their specialty was for X-ray imaging. So you could pretend on Women's Day, where our mothers may need to see a doctor for mammogram, but for some reason they're unable to travel to the big city or to get over to the major clinics. If your city or your government offers a mobile clinic solution, we can fully connect them no matter where they are. We could provide between 4G LTE advanced or 5G connections in any mobile situation. You can power X-ray machines, not power, you can provide connectivity for X-ray machines, IP telephones, and cameras to set up a remote office. You could provide Wi-Fi for the staff, and you can send all that data, whatever the doctor's report may be, back to headquarters in real time for real-time analysis. That is unprecedented. And I'm going to show you exactly how they did it. So this is an actual real mobile clinic. This is a mammography clinic. It's mobile. There are more than one of these. There's probably a few hundreds of these in the USA right now. They deployed multiple HD4 MBXs. I believe in this case, it was 2 to 3 of them, and I'll explain in a second. I want to showcase you the number of antennas on top. So what would be one of the main problems in a mobile situation where you're trying to scan an X-ray and send it back? There's two main issues. One is the size of that X-ray. I will tell you right now, the size of that X-ray file per client is 6 gigabytes. That's 6 gigabytes. You could think of the time to send that X-ray back to headquarters for the medical technician to read it and then to give feedback to the doctor as the patient is getting off the X-ray machine and is getting the next patient on. In the past, it took them literally half a day to send one X-ray back. Today, can you guess how long it would take to send a 6 gigabyte X-ray file back to headquarters? I'll give you 10 seconds to type it into chat. And I'll give you a hint, it's in minutes. Okay, someone said 3 minutes, 25 minutes. Remember, it used to be half a day for 6 gigabytes. And 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, for everybody who answered 5 and below, that is correct. Our medical technicians are able to send a 6 gigabyte, not gigabit, a 6 gigabyte X-ray file back to headquarters in real time in 5 minutes. So you can imagine the patient gets on, gets scanned, she's getting ready to get off, she goes into the next room and she's sitting there with the doctor waiting for the analysis from the tech. In 5 minutes, by the time she walks in and gets a drink of water, the doctor can tell her exactly what that X-ray shows. Real time. That is unprecedented. Now you can think about what is the value of that time saving for your client. And I'll let you guys do that exercise. But I just wanted to exemplify what kind of value that you can bring by being a partner for Peplink. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Remember we did that exercise at the beginning where we looked at everybody's bandwidth. And I'm going to try to pull down the chat. And I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay, so I'm looking at, from your mobile phones, everybody, if you scroll up chat, somebody has really fast bandwidth, 100 megabits of Wi-Fi. Some people have 20, 27. I'm looking at the uplink speeds. 38, 109, 80. Okay. Thank you, David. You have 160 megabit, right? Exactly. 5 minutes in 160 megabits to transfer a 6 gigabyte file. So if you scroll back the chat, you scroll up, if you're using a single WAN connection, let's say you're using a single WAN connection from one of our competitors, you can still provide this kind of service. You will not be able to send that 6 gigabyte connection back to headquarters in 5 minutes. And what if there were errors in a packet? With a single WAN connection, you will have to resend the entire file. Now, with a Peplink HD4 or better, with 4 or more cellular, you can combine multiple commercial cellular carrier or SIM cards, and you can aggregate that and get nearly 160 megabits. For this exact deployment, our SI used 2 HD4s for 8. So that's why they were able to push a 6 gigabit file in less than 5 minutes. And if you can check my math, you can go up and you can see what all the uplink and downlink speeds are. The limiting factor for most people, and they don't think about this when they talk about cellular connection, is, wait, I have a very fast download connection. That's not what's being used. It's uplink. What is the maximum uplink that you can deliver in the field for your customer to enable them to stay connected to their headquarters and allow them to do their job? I'm looking at Demetrius. You had a latency of 18 milliseconds. You have a 98 megabit downlink, but you only have a 9.6 megabit uplink. Philippe, you had 130 megabit downlink and you have 46 megabit. So we would need Philippe to have at least roughly about 6 times 46 megabits to push a 6 gigabit file back to headquarters in 5 minutes. And I will tell you right now, you won't find that solution other than Peplink. Moving on. So now's a good time for a question. So which multicellular devices support bandwidth bonding? HD2, HD2 Mini, HD4, Max 700. I'll give you an option. Option E, all of the above. So I'll give you 10 seconds to decide. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wow, there's a lot of E's here. C and D. C. Okay, let's look at their answer. I'm going to click it and we'll find out. It's all of the above. I will give you a hint. The BR1 does not allow bandwidth bonding, but anything with more than one cellular will. But the BR1 with the single cellular does allow hot failover and VPN. It's usually used in a standalone solution, such as Wi-Fi or to bring connectivity to an isolated system. We've actually worked with other people, other clients such as HVAC. So if there's an air conditioning unit, for example, and they want to monitor that, a lot of devices today are very smart, such as IoT, but they don't have a wireless backhaul. The BR1 would be perfect for that. But for more bandwidth intensive systems, we recommend an HD2 or better. Moving on. What other case studies? Okay, so this is a real world case study. This is actually one of our best case studies because this partner worked with us during our beta period for the MBX. And I'll tell you why. So this was a mobile media company and they travel around the world, literally monitoring ski events. They actually are on site and they're filming all day. And the mobile command center provides internet connectivity for their crew. So they chose the MBX. Why? Because one, it's a gigabit router. They're using LTE-A advanced. So they have super high bandwidth downlink and uplink because they're transferring video files back to headquarters. Real time, live during the event. Two, the Max MBX has a very high temperature range. I believe it's minus 40 up to 65 degrees. So we've actually beta test and did a real world rollout with these guys just to see how extreme that MBX can be. And it works without a hitch. They're still using the same MBX that we gave them since day one. The winning factors are, we have massive amounts of bandwidth for live streaming, for 4K and on. We support worldwide frequency. You could travel from Asia to the Americas and to Europe. It's also future-proof because they can upgrade to 5G when enough 5G infrastructure becomes available. And it's real-world proven. It works in super low temperature, down to minus 40 Celsius, up to 65 degrees. But wait, there's more. What if you had a client who needs to do surveillance or video streaming or wireless broadcasting? They're gonna fly a helicopter, a drone, a blimp, etc. One, anytime you do any kind of video streaming, you need massive amounts of bandwidth. And if you don't believe me, for the new joiners, scroll up during chat and see what the bandwidth some of our users have posted from their mobile phone. That's a really good indicator of out in the field, actual world performance. You need to bond multiples of these to get a really good performance out of a wireless router. Two, everything's encrypted. So you're doing security sensitive type applications. And of course, to prevent your data from leaking out, you want encryption. We provide that in SpeedFusion with our VPN. So the winning factors, using our HD4 MBX, SpeedFusion bonding over LTE, less than 2-second delay from real time to live. So these guys were actually streaming to a mobile command center. It was a vehicle parked with its own HD. The helicopter was equipped with a mobile router tied to IP-fed cameras. It was streaming from the mobile command center. The mobile command center, copied and backed up that data and then uplinked that backhaul back to headquarters. There you go, HD4, and this one was using HD2 67 because of all-weather requirements. Headquarters was using a dual bonded solution as a tie-in to their existing network. But we actually foresee these guys going to upgrade their entire fleet to more bandwidth devices. Now, one thing you gotta ask, hey, Peplink, some of your competitors offers a dual cellular connection. They do. And I ask you to talk to us and get an NFR, that's a not for resale demo kit, and run a test head to head. When you're talking about bandwidth aggregation, you're also asking about reliability and maintaining that connection. I welcome that challenge anytime, any day, anywhere. Also, when we were doing helicopter live video streaming, the only other solution on the market, can you guess what it was? It was a line of sight solution that cost multiple tens of thousands just for a single unit. I mean, line of sight, that completely restricts your ability to be that eye in the sky. But we offered a complete solution, 360 degrees, wherever you are, through cellular. So that's it for the Max Mobility family of cellular routers. I want to dive into our AP family or access points now. If you have any questions specifically, please type it into the Q&A box and I will answer at the end of the presentation. Well, Peplink does offer access points. A lot of our fans don't know this. Our access points are mainly industrial and all-weather grade products. They're not the home use small office type deployments for a very reason. So one, they're enterprise Wi-Fi access points. They offer scalability and allows you to deploy in different formats. Again, has many common features, and these may be asked during the exam. What are the common features among all access points? Many are 11 AC simultaneous, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz radios, up to 16 concurrent SSIDs. We have centralized management through our SD-WAN controller. Again, IC2, our centralized cloud-based controller, can configure and manage all devices, routers, switches, mobility routers, and now access points. And we have an ad delivery service to help you monetize and pay off for those access points. Let's look at the family grouping of our Wi-Fi solutions. We start with the AP1 family. The AP1 are our enterprise grade and different form factor access points, all centrally manageable by IC2. We offer then our AP Pro family, which are our outdoor grade Wi-Fi access points. And we also have device connectors. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. We have add-on services as well. We have an ad delivery service that's cloud-based. It allows you to create different advertisements and push it to those access point portals. So you can imagine if you're talking to a mall owner, for example, and they're looking at a solution that's cost-effective, but they want to have some kind of attraction for their consumers. It's usually free Wi-Fi. But they're also budget conscious. You can offer them a cost-based, advertisement-based solution to monetize and pay off for that investment through our ad delivery service. They can actually sell ads and run it through all the Wi-Fi being pushed out by Peplink APs to their consumers. The Air Pro. This is a fantastic diagnostic equipment. It is not only limited to Wi-Fi, and I'll talk about that shortly. So let's look at the AP1 family of products first. So we start with the AP1 AC Mini. It is the world's smallest 11 AC access point. It is about the size of the SpeedFusion engine, which was about the size at 2/3 of a cigarette pack, roughly. It's really small. And it offers 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi via 802.11.AC Wave 2. So we're getting some massive bandwidth through this access point. And of course, it's just a small device that's connected by one cable. It's PoE enabled, of course. And you can configure, control, and secure that access point with the same IC2 SD-WAN controller. For more commercial grade, we have the AP1 Enterprise. If you're deploying into malls, I highly recommend this. This has an additional antenna for better coverage. We also offer AP1 Rugged. Okay, so these are for more tough solutions such as trains and mobility, where they're not stationary. We highly recommend this, especially for those types of deployments. We have the AP1 in wall. This you can attach. These are fire resistant. You can attach it directly to electrical gang boxes. It also has built-in 4-port LAN, so you could connect additional devices to it and send it back. Now, all of our Wi-Fi devices can act as Wi-Fi as WAN as well. So you can relay signals back to other access points. And we have our IP55 rated AP1 Flex. Integrated antenna, perfect for outdoor solution, in control 2, and we support the 11.AC Wave 2 specification for high bandwidth. So if you already have a routing solution available, and you have like a mall, for example, with an outdoor park, because you're already providing connectivity and you want to save a little bit of money and you don't want to deploy or offer Wi-Fi in the park area by connecting a router, you can offer the AP1 Flex. You can use one of the antennas as a connectivity back to the in-mall Wi-Fi and then pull bandwidth from that or pull network connectivity from that. But there's more. What if you have some high risk or harsh environment deployment needs and you need to provide Wi-Fi? So let's look at the AP Pro family of IP67 rated access points. We start with the AP Pro 300, and we have the AP Pro Dual, and we have the AP Pro AC. Again, it's easier for you to remember if you look at, you set a baseline and you remember the differences. We start with ABGN with 300 megs of throughput only, up to 60 users. So this is great for maritime use on a small boat, for example. You can wire this back into existing LAN inside. If you have a bigger deployment and you need more bandwidth, this is a 2x2 MIMO. That's why it's called the dual. So this has 2x2, but it's only 300 megabits. This is dual band simultaneously. This is single band, dual band, and then 11.AC right here, 11.AC. 300 megabits, 600 megabit, 1.3 gigabits of throughput. All up to 60 users, all IP67 rated for harsh environment use. So let's look at a quick question. Which of the following products supports 802.11.AC Wi-Fi? AP1 300, AP1 in-wall, the Max BR1, or AP1 AC Mini? And we literally just looked at a bunch of slides less than a minute ago. So key in your answers into chat. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Let's check the answer. It's actually AP1AC Mini. So for all of you who selected D only, great job. And I'm going to flip back really quick for all those who missed it. AP Pro 300 supports only ABGN. AC Mini supports 802.11 AC. There you go. So that was a sample question that will be asked on the test. It is important for you to know the differences. Use a reference point, look at the differences, and it shows right here, this is AC. Okay, moving on. So we offer another cool Wi-Fi type device, and it's called device connector. And what is this? What if you're doing a deployment in a very large building? Let's say you're doing a Wi-Fi retrofit for a university or a school campus. And you've already put in the Peplink router with cellular failover, and you powered up their entire PoE network for Wi-Fi access points, IP telephones, IoT lab with our switches. Thank you very much. And you realize there are some areas you literally cannot pull a cable to. Well, how would you grant Wi-Fi access to those areas? So we offered the device connector. That'll allow you to connect another device, such as another network, a switch, let's say a switch of a bank of computers, or another access point through L2 transport over a Wi-Fi bridge. You put this in the middle of two networks and you create a Wi-Fi bridge, and it'll convert that signal over. It's compatible with any access point, even third party, because it's talking on standard Wi-Fi signal. And it's flexible and tough. We have outdoor format and indoor industrial formats. And the way we do it is that we combine both radios into a virtual radio, and we shoot all the traffic back. So think of this, think of the device connector as a small Wi-Fi relay or a very small point-to-point. It's literally very, very similar to some third parties who make point-to-point connectors. But ours is a little bit on a smaller scale for point-to-point use between networks. Let's look at some of the models. We have the rugged. This one provides 802.11 AC 3x3 MIMO, has 2 gigabit LAN ports, and it can aggregate both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz into a single connection. Then we have our outdoor device, such as device connector IP55. Again, 11.AC, software selectable, PoE output capable, 3 gigabit LAN switch built in. So why would you use this? What if you had an IP camera for security in a corner of a wall, and the only thing that you can provide, the only thing, the absolute only thing that you can provide is to tap into that power source? There is no way, no how that you can pull a LAN cable there. Does it make sense? Is it cost effective for you to put a BR1 and connect it to a very remote IP security camera just to backhaul that traffic when your existing infrastructure or on-premise already has massive bandwidth through a Peplink aggregated solution? Not really. This is where you can deploy a device connector. You can pop this device right next to that IP camera, connect the IP cable into it, and just let it send the signal video stream via Wi-Fi internally. You can send that video stream via Wi-Fi back to an access point, from that access point back through your network. This is probably a more cost-effective solution. And for salespeople, we're always challenged. Why is everything so expensive? So I'm providing you an avenue to enhance your wireless footprint without additional cost. This is a very cost-effective way to bring IP devices that are remote or very hard to pull a wire into, and you can provide that. And you can do it very economically when you're comparing it to a VR1. If you're in a location that has zero connectivity and you need backhaul, VR1, HD2, and our mobility routers completely make sense. If you have devices that need to connect to an existing network, device connectors make sense. I hope that's clear for our salespeople to understand. Technical people, you guys know this in and out. You eat this stuff for breakfast. But I want, on a very high level, for our sales partners to understand how to tell the story and to provide the solution to their customer without breaking their banks, or at least not make it seem like we're breaking their banks. Moving on. Wave Air Probe. Okay, this is an awesome piece of kit. And it's more for the technical people, but I will explain a situation where you want to have this. What is the Air Probe? This is our completely wireless network tester. It can perform automated and scheduled tests for bandwidth, ping, upload speed, download speed, and check server health. It provides notification by email, whether your access points or your cellular signals are weak or your Wi-Fi channels are overutilized. It provides diagnostics. You can easily see all the Wi-Fi utilizations, all the packet distribution, and all the signal strength for each Wi-Fi device or cellular device, or your hardwired WANs and LAN. So how does this device work? It is a standalone network monitor, basically. All it does one thing all day. It mainly scans your entire network, and it runs performance tests throughout all your WAN connections. This will free up your routers to do what it needs to do, which is to provide service to your customers. This device will help you troubleshoot and alert you before the device will go down, because it's technically monitoring as an outsider for every device, every port, every WAN, and every wireless network connectivity. Where would you ever use this? If you're an IT manager or your customer has a huge IT deployment and you're really worried about their service uptime and you have SLA contracts or a service agreement with them, it is highly recommended that you consider deploying Air Probes in their network infrastructure. You can have real-time third-party, because it's outside the networks, out of band technically, manage and test their entire network and alert you on any threshold that you set. Now, if you're super price conscientious and you have a very small deployment, usually the built-in diagnostic tools in the router and in the SD-WAN controller are good enough. If you have a very large deployment, we're talking about hundreds of devices, it is much better for you to know if certain parts of the network is performing or not before you get a call. Because sometimes it can be a configuration issue by the staff, the in-house IT staff. Your customer is growing beyond the needs of their network, but they're not telling you, or they're not noticing, or they're just putting up with a slightly slower network. You will notice before they tell you. And it allows you time to sit down with them and talk to them about a growth path or a growth solution, or consider expanding and upgrading without scaring them and without waiting for them to be in a critical situation where they're calling you up in the AMs and asking why and what happened. So I highly recommend this, especially for medium and larger businesses. Or if you're working in civilian networking, civil services, especially for security network, their internal IT teams may want a way to monitor. And when I say monitor, I'm not talking about a human, looking at a LCD screen, clicking on all the reports that you see in the cloud. I'm talking about a third-party automated device that will tell you when it detects or a problem before it becomes critical. Here's the workflow. Usually, the Air Probe will monitor wireless through access points. And then from there, it will start gathering data. Any data can be fiber, can be MPLS lease lines, can be your cellular backhaul, can be whatever you assign it and allow it to check. The AirPods collects all the information. It shoots it into the cloud. Our IC controller will help you generate reports from the AirPod workflow. And you can actually play back 1 week's worth of performance data, or 2 weeks, or 1 month, or 2 months, to find the time when a situation may have occurred to compromise or degrade your network. It can also do something that my engineer actually told me. He said it can actually detect intrusion. How? If you have a network, let's say a secure network with whitelisted devices, as soon as a non-whitelisted devices enters the network or attempts, the AirPod will detect it and send this signal or alert back to the admin. So that's something to think about. So let's start with another question. Which statement about ad delivery service is not true? Okay, this is tricky because I didn't really go too in depth, but let's go through it anyway, just so you have an idea of what type of question will be asked during the exam. It is a subscription service. It can deliver 4 types of ads: surveys, video, banners, in session. It does not need in control for device and captive portal configuration. It can assign subscriptions to different devices. Let's not even do this. I'm just going to skip to the answer. If you know it, you can type it in. Only because I did not go in depth. Now remember, everything that I talked about can be controlled by our in-control SD-WAN controller. Just a hint. There's your answer. You are correct. Moving on. So previously, we just talked about mobility, cellular devices, Wi-Fi access points, and device connectors, and our Air Probe. So let's talk about IoT, because this was asked by our participants from the previous session. So Pepxim, Peplink's IoT solution. Pepxim overview. Pepxim stands for Peplink Extended to Internet Machines. So Pepxim is our umbrella brand for all IoT-enabled devices from Peplink. So we were told by Gartner that in 2020, they will predict there will be more than 20 billions connected Internet of Things on the network. Sensing this opportunity, Peplink is proud to introduce our IoT-focused product brand, Pepxim. Our statement is to basically simplify management and installation of IoT products and solve business problems using IoT technology. This is our product overview for Pepxim. We have a smart reader. This was actually designed by us and we use it in-house. It's HR made simple for both management and staff. We have a dedicated GPS tracker. Again, this ties back to our cloud, allowing you to overlay and monitor all sorts of reporting, such as distance, such as travel routes, such as real-time data, speed, direction, and etc. Pepsign. This is our digital signage solution. I will talk about this as an example. Software-defined power distribution unit. This is a brand new device by us, and it's not launched yet, so I won't actually talk about it today. Software-defined power management unit. The big difference between the two is that this is a super heavy-duty product, and this is a mobility product. It says it offers consistent power for your vehicular network. Well, let's look at the PMU to see what it can do. The PMU is a standalone device that you can access from the cloud. So what is it? It's a power management unit. Pepsim's patented power fusion technology allows vehicle and vessels to aggregate power systems to provide uninterruptible and reliable, stable electrical power circuits to those vehicles. So what it does is it allows the ability to connect different power supplies or sources and aggregate that and provide stable and steady power to all DC power devices in that network. Using our voltage regulation circuit, you can aggregate multiple DC power sources with a wide range of voltages from 12 to 56 and transfer to a constant voltage power supply. So here's what it actually can do. Imagine that we're going back to our train deployment from the LAN bypass S16-port SD switch. In any DC power situation, when you're starting up that vehicle, whether it's a boat, it's a truck, it's a car, or a train, it will cause ripples. It will. You can measure this. A lot of electrical engineers will tell us this. And when you're running that kind of power through your network, what are you basically doing when you're turning on all your devices? You're actually burning them out because there will be voltage spikes and ripples. And you know this when you're driving your car as a test. The faster you drive it, the brighter your headlights become. Why? Because the power that's created by a vehicle actually can increase and spike. So we're actually dumping a lot of dirty power when we're talking about mobility deployments. So how do we solve that? We solve it by attaching a PMU for the electrical circuits. It's a AC regulator. It's a DC to DC converter. You could take any form of DC and you could patch it in and you could put out clean power to access points, video screens, routers, and etc. It can distribute power. It has small metal enclosures, very small form factor, and it can collect and pull up data between 2 to 56 volts, and it could output up to 4 52-volt terminal blocks. That means we can eat up a lot of power and provide it cleanly to very expensive devices, such as onboard HD4 MBX. You don't want to deploy a brand new solution and 3 months down the line go back and find out that that vehicle offered very dirty power circuitry and burned out the devices. And the reason why we developed this, because we've actually seen it. Our partners have actually seen this on a transport deployment where dirty power was turning on and off the routers because there was a brownout. You literally lost power because you couldn't provide enough power during certain parts of the travel path, whether the vehicle was increasing or decreasing speed for some reason. The PMU will offer you a way to provide very clean power. And using our cloud-based manager, you can access the PMU out of band or in band with the existing network to check the monitor, and report the power situation. You can also find out more about all the Pepxim devices on our website. So previously, I told you that I would share my personal tips with you on how to research and study and how to prepare for the exam. So I'm going to use this opportunity and do it together with you right now. So we're going to ask you at the end of the webinar to study on your own at pepsim.com. So let's click it and see what it does. Boom. So we're looking at the Pepxim live website right now. It has a section about. I highly recommend you click on this because you may be asked a question from here. It lists all the devices that we currently offer to the market. Access control, digital signage solution, GPS tracker, power management units. This is a description of what each device can and cannot do. Let's take a deep dive into one as an example. This is our cloud-based digital signage solution. Here we have the introduction. Here's the benefits that we bring to your customers. You can manage one or many digital signage from the cloud. That means you can deploy, let's say, across all campuses. You could deploy across a network for one of your end users, such as a bank who has a digital signage in their lobby. You could deploy and manage all the signage in multiple malls across a country with one cloud-based interface. We have a built-in animation and scene maker built in for free. You can create some really snazzy advertisement and deploy from the cloud. You could do scheduling. You could do automated content update by schedule and data grabber. You can actually tie this into other devices and grab additional data. Here's a video to do this, to showing the benefits of it. I won't play it because of time. I'll ask you to look at it yourself. We teach you how to configure the PEP sign. So I'm going to ask you one thing for our partners who actually work with marketing teams and ad agencies. Let's say you go into a mall and you see an advertisement on a large screen TV. If you go and look at the back of that large screen TV, most of the time, what will you see? Powering up that device. How are the ads delivered? The ads are actually delivered by USB finger, and that's a manual process. Imagine if you're working with one of the biggest brands in your country. You're trying to do a regional launch, and the ad agency will physically have to send a guy to every single mall and plug in a USB just to change that ad. You can do it all remotely and from a centralized environment with Pepxim. You could download data sheet. You can find out existing partners or where to buy it, and you could do a demo. But I want to point out to you something important that's on the exam. You need to know the specification, and this is how you find it. In every single page for all of our devices, we have a specification page. It will list all the details here. Some of the questions will ask you for something similar to any one of these. I'll do another one together. Let's look at the power management unit that I just talked about. You scroll down, you look at the benefits, you look at the video, you can look at the features. You can look at the device itself to be familiarized. Very important to study specification. You have a picture of the hardware, specification. All these details will more than likely be asked. So let's do another one. This is the Peplink website, the main site. I'm going to teach you how to study for the exam and what will be asked. Look at products, technology, and solutions. For salespeople, extremely important for you to study under solutions. This is all of our case studies that have been unclassified. Anything else that's under NDA will not be listed here. Technology, this is what I talked about. Software-defined WAN, VPN, speed fusion, bonding, and etc. Let's take a look at a product page for examples. Let's look at the Max routers as an example. We have single cellular, BR1, multi-cellular, outdoor series. Let's look at a multi-cellular. Let's look at one of our best sellers, HD4 MBX. Here's all the different models. Here's all the data sheet for the MBX specifically. And for your studying, in my personal advice, take a look at the specifications. At the minimum, learn where to find it. Let's do one more. If I'm looking at single cellular, if there's a question about the BR1, here's all the different models. And we come to the bottom, here's all the specifications. And very important for you to learn, you don't need to memorize this. You only need to know the differences between all the models. BR1 Classic, Mark II, Mini, M2M, Slim, Enterprise. Look at the differences. Throughput. Here again, all BR1 offers VPN connection. Some have WAN smoothing. None offer bandwidth bonding. And let's go back. So let's do another question. An end user is operating a chain restaurant and wishes to have digital signage that can support rule-based scheduling and be updated remotely and automatically by data grabber. Which solution should be proposed? You guys need to know this answer. I'm sure you know it by now. A, is it a BR1 with a captive portal? Or B, a Pepsign player with Pepsign cloud service? C, is it a BR1 with Pepsign cloud service? D, is it provided by HD2 with our SD-WAN controller IC2? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's look at the real answer. It's actually B. I literally just showed you that web page. So for everybody who missed it, please look at the video, look at my personal tips, and look how to prepare for the exam. It is very important for you to know where to find the answer. We're not asking you to memorize all the answer today. Eventually, you will memorize most of the specifications. You need to understand how large our family is, what kind of technology we offer, how to deliver that in a format to your customer, and how to size up their business and advise the right solution for them. That is the whole goal of this entire exam, is to discipline you to know where to find those answers. And finally, I want to talk about our support services. So this is the warranty page, and this will cover more of the Peplink technical requirements. So for our sales technical requirements, when you're showing our products to your customer, please note that we have different warranty plans. Every single device includes standard warranty. It's included in the first year. Full In-Control 2 access from Peplink's own cloud is provided for free the first year. And we have a standard RMA policy. You can read the details down here for RMA. After the first year, technically the device is out of warranty. And if you do not renew, you will lose access to Peplink's IC2 service, but you can extend that. You can offer something called extended warranty, which begins after the first year. And it will continue IC2 service from Peplink's own cloud, and it will provide continuous RMA policy. Now, there will be deployments for some of your customers that will need a special type of service, and that is called Smart Care. Smart Care only applies to blue chip, and I'll explain what are blue chip and what are not. It begins at the day of purchase. So if you purchase at the first day, it will start that date. If you purchase in the middle of the standard warranty, 6 months in, it will begin at that date for another year. It does provide In-Control, but the most important point is that it provides advanced hardware replacement. So what is AHR? That is a service that once you have a deployment, and if Peplink finds that product or device to be faulty, we will send you a replacement first. Under the standard RMA policy, Once Peplink has determined a device to be faulty and still under warranty, our partner needs to retrieve that faulty device, send it back to us before we send a replacement. So very important for you to read the support policy. What is my recommendation? You can usually get away with standard warranty in a very large environment because you have enough devices for redundancy. But if you are working on a critical infrastructure project or a mobile infrastructure project where there are no redundant devices, such as a yacht, such as a transport ship, such as a train, you should bundle. The way I would deliver that service is that I would not sell Peplink on a per device style. I would sell a bundled service under SmartCare, a SmartCare enabled device. So if you're on a ship and we find the router to be faulty for whatever reason, we will send our partner the actual replacement on hand. So when that ship docks, you can go in, do the replacement, and then pull out the defective unit. You keep your customers online with near zero downtime. So that's where SmartCare becomes valuable. You never ever sell the device as one product and you sell SmartCare as an add-on. That is a big sales mistake. You sell it as a bundle and you just say, you get the advanced hardware under this package. That's it. There's no need to dive deep into the nitty-gritty of how it's separated. You give them a one price, one package. And for your customers, after you've done the POC and demo the benefits from Peplink, they won't question you about the pricing. It's not a price issue. It's a service and benefits issue. So once you've signed up, you've gone through the webinar, you become certified, you're really interested and you want to become a Peplink partner, I want you to be aware as a Peplink partner, one, you can buy directly from us. Two, you can actually purchase for some of our distributors for immediate inventory, for example. Three, there are additional benefits under deal registration, for example. And as a partner, when you showcase our products, one, you need to know how we group it. So these devices are under blue chip. So these are enterprise grade products. We also have some devices under velocity, and these are our more small business and SOHO type products that are fast movers. And we have volume based. These products actually improve on pricing based on volume. There are territory restrictions. Our partners are only authorized to sell these grouping, blue chip, only in the regions that they are allowed to on contract. You cannot sell from one region to another, period. If you have a deployment that's multi-region, you need to get approval from us before you can do that. Velocity devices, such as access points, you can sell cross-border, no problem, day in, day out. For volume-based, you can sell these devices day in, day out. So you have a large deployment and you're crossing borders for some reason, let's say Spain or Portugal, you can sell a deployment that allows the customer to be set up by you for two different regions, only for volume-based and velocity series. If you are advertising our products on your website, which we do encourage, there are some rules. You cannot offer the MSRP pricing for blue chip series on your website, period. If you offer to third parties, such as Amazon, let's say you're a reseller on Amazon, it's not your own website, it's a sales portal. You cannot allow to advertise it, period. No exceptions. If we find out, you are basically putting your partnership at risk with us. For these, you can advertise it at not less than MSRP, and same on Amazon, for example. Same for these. So the main restriction to look at are under blue chip series, and these questions may be asked on the exam. So I want to highlight something. This is probably not on the exam, but I just want to highlight it. If you become a partner of Peplink, These are all the markets that you can enter. And I will tell you right now, we are actively engaged in all of these markets. You don't have to remember everything. Just take a few seconds to look at it. I want to broaden your reach when you become a partner with Peplink. You may be a vertical specialist right now. For example, you may be a security specialist. You may be a video specialist. You might be an education specialist. But once you become a partner with Peplink, there is no reason why you cannot take your expertise into other verticals and create other business. And if you need any assistance, we're more than welcome. We're more than ready to welcome you and help you. Finally, some of the benefits of becoming a Peplink partner. Again, just want to wrap it up. We have a comprehensive wired and wireless SD-WAN solution for any deployment. We offer you the ability to grow and capitalize on the growing SD-WAN market. I'm going to give you a big hint right now. What are the two biggest buzzwords in networking right now? And you can type it into chat. They're very high level. Tom, you got that right. 5G is one. What's the other one? It's not SD-WAN. It's not SD-WAN. SD-WAN's been a buzzword for Peplink for a long time. Demetrius, right on, IoT. IoT and 5G are the biggest buzzwords in all of networking, period. That's your whale. That's your blue ocean right now. And I think after you've gone through our webinar today, and when you look at all the devices and all the technology that we offer, there is no way that you cannot offer a 5G or IoT solution from Peplink. There's no way you cannot. If you're ready to ride those waves, come and join us and become our partner. Again, we offered, if you become our partner and you successfully sign up, we offer you leads. We give you the leads. Okay, we totally hook you up from a business aspect. We offer round-the-clock support and unlimited tickets. We literally have near 24-hour technical support from internal development team. This is not a third-party technical service that we farm out to somebody in another country. Every technical support contact you touch from Peplink is an in-house guy or lady. And you can ask us for feature requests, marketing support, case studies. You can ask us about demos. We will totally hook you up. And more than likely, we will ask you to participate in our marketing, but to providing case studies. We will help market your services. If you don't believe me, go to our case studies page on our website. Look at all the partners and links that we link back to. We put them at the front of our marketing campaigns. If you're ready to become a Peplink partner, click this and sign up. And I promise you, an extra tidbit, you really got to thank our marketing team for putting this together. We will offer everybody a mini mock exam. I highly recommend you take this exam after you study and after you pull your resources up before you take the real exam. They will draw from real questions from the main exam, and it will totally prepare you. And you could take the mini exam more than once until you're ready. Remember, you have 3 weeks until the deadline. And lastly, stay connected and keep up to date with us. We're on social media. Welcome you to join and like our pages and participate. My number one suggestion is to join our community forum. We're a very small and tight family. We actually work together with all of our partners on a personal level. You can access myself, sales and marketing, and all the engineers here. And I thank you, everybody, for your time. It was a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I thank you all for sticking around and coming through with us. Now we're going to take a very short 1-minute break, and then I'm going to answer your Q&A live. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'm back now, and I still see there are, let's see, 20 open questions. And I believe there are 23 that were already answered by Lai. So he's our senior engineer, guys. Really give a round of applause to Cassie and Lai for backing us up. Thank you, everybody. So let's go to the questions. So from Ricardo, how do you position the BR1 Mark II? So Ricardo, bye Dario, it was nice having you here. I see you have to go back to work. We'll talk to you later. We'll make the video available for you for further studying. Thank you for your participation. So from Ricardo, how do you position the BR1? So the BR1 is our first line of mobility devices. It has a single cellular, but what can you do with that? That's a really cool little box that could, number one, you can augment existing networks. If you have customers with an existing network from whoever, whatever, you can provide them with a cellular failover. You can actually patch that BR1 into their network, and should their primary WAN fail, it can jump to the BR1. That's one. Number two, what if you have a deployment that you need a WAN connection, but it's very difficult to pull a landline, such as copper or fiber optic? You could deploy a BR1. It has a WAN connection and a LAN port and a built-in cellular. What if you want to do standalone solutions, such as community Wi-Fi? BR1. What if you want to provide a standalone solution for a security apparatus, such as video and audio security in a remote part of a mall, let's say the parking lot, and it's way too far to pull a landline, and it's way too far to connect to the Wi-Fi that's in the mall? BR1. If you're really close by, you may want to consider one of the device connectors if you have a nearby Wi-Fi that's already tied into an existing network, or you can deploy an access point. Ahmed, your question was, what is the difference between a max dual transit and max HD2? Okay, great question. Max dual transit is about the size of a cell phone. So my personal cell phone has a 6-inch screen. You do not need to remember that. That's not an exam. And it's about that size. The Transit Duo has 2 cellulars, 1 WAN port and 1 LAN port, built-in Wi-Fi and built-in GPS. The Max HD4, what is the difference? It has a 4-port switch. So Dual Transit has a single WAN and single LAN. Max HD2 has 4-port LAN switch, plus, I believe, 2 additional WAN ports, in addition to the 2 cellular. Philip, thank you for your time, and thank you for attending. Same to you, Emika. Demetrius, your question was, the Max HD2 Dome comes with 0 gain antennas, correct? Absolutely correct. It already has built-in antennas with no additional gain. But the reason we provide this type of solution is because a lot of people find it very difficult to add high-quality RF third-party antennas due to the complexity. You are literally pulling a massive cable, more than a centimeter thick, to a deployment. So sometimes there are solutions. Let's say you're deploying to a mobile command center, Demetrius, but you don't need those high gain antennas because you're in the city and you have very good coverage. HD2 is a very elegant solution for that. Same for buses, for example. If you want to deploy a free Wi-Fi service and somehow backhaul in-bus video surveillance, HD2 Dome. It's already IP67 water and dust proof, simple installation. All we need is a Ethernet cable to plug it in. Mark, your question was, can you use both AC adapter power and 12-foot inputs simultaneously on routers? I actually do not know that. I believe you could only use one, but that's a great question. Let me check with our engineer and see if they can find out, and we'll send you back the answer. Cyril, I'm writing from Italy, and I think that my English isn't well. I see modem with LTE technologies, and this modem can fuse or bond more connection in LTE, and the dome antenna allows me to take the best signal of the LTE. That is true, Cyril. You can bond with, okay, so in Peplink devices, besides the BR1, you can literally bond all the cellular connection plus all the Ethernet WAN connection that you can provide. The HD2 dome is a pre-bonded solution because it's all built in. It's a specialized device for special deployment. Jan, your question, when will be a single 5G router available with PoE output? We are actually working on that, Jan. So we're working on a range of 5G routers, including single 5G, dual 5G, quad 5G, and we'll see on the EPX. Therapon. SpeedFusion engine can micro USB power supply from USB power bank. That's a great question. I will ask you to check the spec sheet for that because it's right in front of us and you can pull it up. Cyril, with the modem's built-in WAN and SIM, I can make all connections come together and increase my internet speed. That is correct for HD2 and above, Cyril, not the BR1. Raymond, if I don't need 4K live cast, just a normal 720p Facebook live streaming, will a BR1 be enough? What is the uplink bandwidth that is supported by the BR1? Okay, so the BR1 has 100 megabits of router throughput. That means the maximum LTE uplink that we can support is 100 megabits. That's limited by our router. Now, more than likely, you will be limited by the connection quality from your carrier to the BR1 cellular modem. And I personally don't know what that is. I recommend you pull out your cell phone and do the speed test. It will tell you the bandwidth that you're getting from where you're sitting right now from your existing carrier. That's probably the best that you're going to get from a single carrier. If you need more bandwidth, you can combine a second radio to increase that. Or if your cell phone is not LTE-A, you can consider switching to an LTE-A service. Ahmed, your question is, for live video stream, why not send from the Max HD2 from the helicopter directly to the Peplink 210 in headquarters? That's a great question. One, the helicopter is powered by battery, okay? Two, we don't know where the helicopter is going. If it flies out of bound, it can literally break its connection if the SIM service does not cover that city. Two, it's all weather. So that means, what if it's raining? Okay, I will be honest with you, and if there are any radio engineers in the chat room, please confirm. Can electricity and rain affect radio signals? You can just type yes or no. So a lot of times when you're having a helicopter doing surveillance, you have an on-the-ground team. That's why the helicopter would stream that video live with less than 2-second latency back down to the ground team. So that on-the-ground team is actually counting on that helicopter to give it live video stream of where the action or the operation is being done. In fact, For my personal answer, if you guys need super resilient and you're sending HD, full HD, we're talking about 1080p or better video streams, your absolute minimum is HD2. I do recommend an HD4, even with a third SIM, because you can never be too careful. If you're doing an operation and your video is blurry, it's worthless. Abel Azi, hey, nice seeing you again. Your question is, what is the maximum speed and radio PepWave model? Okay, if you talk about top speed, it's the EPX, because you could plug in 18 cellular connections. And remember, I told you earlier, the inhibiting factor when we talk about in-field remote connection is not the download speed, it's your upload speed. It's how much data you can push back to headquarters. When you're downloading on your cell phone, it's pretty fast. When you're uploading, it's very slow. So when you're trying to send data in the field or remotely back to someone, you need the maximum upload speed. That's why we recommend more than 2 cellular connections. And if you need that kind of bandwidth to send 6 gigabits, such as 6 gigabytes, you should look at the MBX, one or two devices, or the EPX, which you can put into trailers and have up to 18 cellulars bonding. James, your question. Can the AP1 Mini be used along something like a BR1 Enterprise with all of the in-control features? No problem. Absolutely no problem. The BR1 can output PoE, power to AP1 AC, and you could basically provide a full standalone solution for remote Wi-Fi connectivity. Absolutely no problem. Cedric, nice seeing you, Cedric. I'm glad you're here. What is the max range for device IP55? Okay, I don't know if you're talking about the BR1 IP55 cellular router or the AP IP55. I believe we've done tests, and I'm really going on the limb here. If there are no buildings out in the open field, I believe we can range up to a little less than 1 kilometer. Okay, if there are devices like in buildings and wires and power towers and things like that, that will definitely limit your range. So what I recommend you do is look at a third-party spectrum analyzer and measure that if you're doing that kind of deployment. Abdul Aziz, again, what about the speed for a bridge connection with these 2 devices? So if you're talking about the PepWave device connector, okay, that was our access point wave bridger. The maximum speed is the bonding of both radios, 2.4 gigahertz plus 5 gigahertz. I believe it's 1.3 gigabits of performance. Okay, maximum, absolute maximum. We're talking about no corners. We're talking about site to site, straight line across. Rhinus, in other words, does it only scan 2.4, 5 GHz or other bands as well? If so, what range within those bands? For our devices, we only, I believe you're talking about the AP probe. If you're talking about in Wi-Fi mode, that's only 2.4 and 5 gigahertz because we're on the Wi-Fi standard. So if you have a network of P2P or P to multi-P with a third party, such as 6 gigahertz, we can't scan that yet. If you have a requirement, if you would like our AP probe to scan third-party devices such as P2P, put together your case and send me an email. I'll pass it to the engineers and take a look at it. Cedric, will the SDPMU be released with higher DC input range? Cedric, the PMU can aggregate between 12 volt to 50 volt DC already from multiple. How high do you want to go? The output is 52 volts. And as far as I know, That's what a train at full speed can output. That's why we designed it. If you need something bigger, let us know. Send me an email and I'll pass it to the engineers. Nicholas, under EU law, shouldn't a standard 2-year warranty be provided? Nicholas, that's a very good question. I personally advise you to sell all of our devices with, at minimum, extended warranty package. When you're talking to your customers, just quote them the price with the additional warranty built in. Now, I'm going to tell you, as a partner, whatever price I'm quoting you, that's your price. The MSRP is the price that we put back to our end users. That's what Apple will sell their iPhones for example. So for you to be compliant under EU, you need to provide locally. I'm not selling to your customers. You are. You will need to provide the appropriate package for your customers. Yana, you know, in a train, they will change the wagons at the main stations. So what is the wireless solution in this case? Hey, Yana, what if we what if we put access points in all the trains and we configure all the SSIDs on our network? And then what if you can use a single cloud-based SD-WAN controller and define different tags for each car? So let's say you have 2 cars that will operate on 2 rails, A and B, and you have another 2 cars that operate on C and D. What if I told you that there was some really smart and up-and-coming SD-WAN company that can provide you with the technology to configure all the cars with access points, and when you reconnect the cars based on tags, it will automatically reconfigure that SSID and make the connection to that network? Wouldn't that be useful? Well, I'll give you a hint. The company starts with a P, and if you pass the exam, you can be our partner. Dennis, can I have the link to the previous and current presentation? Yes, we will send out the videos and the presentation from today and the previous one to everybody who's joined today. We'll send you an email shortly, hopefully by the end of the day, and you can dive into it and review before you take the test. Anonymous, I've signed up using my company email for this online training. Can I use a different email to sign up for a training website and do the exam using the different email and qualify for the $150 freebie? Yes, you can. We have open registration for an American session due to time differences. So what I recommend is you can try to sign up for the current session. If you cannot, sign up for the American session, and both the North American session and the current session will be made, resources will be made available to you. And then and when you take the test, you can sign in using that email. Hi, James. Thanks, guys. Great session. Thank you. Sati, SIM injector, do you have any subscription same like another product? You mean, do I have another description about a similar product? As far as I know, there isn't. As far as I know, we're the first guys who have a multi-SIM injector that can provide PoE and that allows you to provision that router on different SIM cards. As far as I know. Silas, yes, we will share the presentation again. Whale, how can we access to the trainings recording? I believe I already answered that. Hi, Calvin. We are in the event business and clients only require the devices for a very short period. Are there rental solutions available? Hi, Calvin. You can offer a MSP business where you offer rental, because we are a manufacturer and R&D. We expect our partner to provide the end service to the user. If you are an end user and you're looking for someone to provide that to you, send us an email right now at sales@peplink.com and we will find a partner to talk to you. Please list your region for our reference. And Ali, you will email the links. Yes, I will very shortly. Hi, Cedric. You said for your rail project, you need 72 volts DC input. I'm gonna write that down, and I'll talk to one of our engineers and send you a private email about this in a few minutes, if possible. Thank you for that. Hi, James. We are increasing our work in city locations and seeing quite a lot of single BR1 modem deployments, swamping cell towers frequently, causing degraded service. If we move to an LTE-A, will this help? Hi, James. You know what that problem is? That problem, I believe you're in the UK, and in certain countries, there's something called fair use. That means the telephone company will count the number of their users on a tower. And that's a number of users total, like I'm one user, you're one user, and all the other citizens. And if there's too many users, one, that means that cell tower is saturated. Two, that means they're kicking in a provisioning policy where they literally kick you off. They're gonna kick you off and they're gonna put you to a lower bandwidth connection and push the new guys connecting on to a higher bandwidth. That's their fair use policy. Now, there is a way to mitigate that, okay? You know what the trick is? The cell tower IDs by devices. If you deploy an HD2 or HD4 for your deployment, even on the same provider, you are technically 2 or 4 different users. That means when they kick in the fair use policy, guess what? You will still have more than enough bandwidth. And here's another trick. You can deploy HD2, HD4, or multiple BR1. It's up to you, based on flexibility. Pop in a different SIM carrier for every radio. Remember, each network will start kicking in fair use based on their network users. If an unpopular network is not oversaturating, they will allow their users all the bandwidth they can eat up. Rick, can eSIM be used in Peplink device in the future? Today, no. In the future, I don't know. That's a great question, and what you should do is post that question in our forum because our engineers will answer you. Because they can look at our timetable for new products and see where that fits, and they will answer you directly. And Labdor, is the BR1 now support band 40? Great question. I highly recommend you go to our website and look under specification. It lists every band that it supports. Now remember, we offer 3 different models for BR1 under LTE. LTE, we have a North American model, a European model, and an Asia Pacific model. So please check the model. I believe under LTE-A, there's only 2 models. It's Asia Pac and Worldwide, which is North America plus Europe. I think those are all the questions I've answered. Hi, Martin, you have a question now. Does Fusion Hub offer content caching? No, it doesn't, because Fusion Hub is deployed on the cloud. We offer the content caching locally on the devices that you deploy. So for your CPE, if you're deploying a box into an educational center or a train, for example, you can preload that with content caching under MediaFast, or you can do little content caching based on internet, YouTube, and live streaming videos. So the Fusion Hub is a terminator in the sky, in the cloud, for our devices to enable Speed Fusion. Remember, Speed Fusion requires how many pairs to be enabled, people? You can type your answer in the chat and I can tell you you're right or wrong. Correct, at least 2, at minimum 2. So you can do 2 hardware devices or 1 hardware plus virtual, which is Fusion Hub. I believe that's all the questions. My last thing and my last request for you. If you like the webinar, there will be a form sent out to you asking about how well we've done. The reason we do this is we want to understand where we're doing good, where we can do better, and where we really need improvement. If I'm not clear enough, if I'm too fast, if I'm not educated enough, I'm not too deep, please say so, and they'll find a much better person to speak on my behalf in the next time. Just kidding. Or if you want a super deep dive, we're talking about hardcore sales, like real sales work, guys. That's not a normal Peplink thing, but the marketing and sales team will welcome it. We will be very glad to host that kind of webinar for you guys. I thank you all for your comments. It's been my absolute pleasure. My audience, you guys are awesome. Thank you for sticking around. You guys have a great day now, and I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much, everybody.